Hello everyone, it's Gigabeef here, and today we're looking at the best weapons to get you going in the new patch. First up, as far as I can tell, there have been very few changes to recoil whatsoever, and some of the information posted by Logical Solutions suggests minor tweaks to SMG type weapons such as the MP5 and the UMP to decrease their recoil slightly. Personally, I can't really feel the difference after playing on day one, so until we can do more extensive testing, for all intents and purposes, I'm considering the same as in 12.12 for the time being. With that said, your choice of weapon is going to come down to your playstyle and the map that you are going to. There is no one best gun for all situations in my opinion, so we're going to split up our choice of weapon into semi-auto and full auto, and from there into the three main buckets of headshotters, thorax and body killers, and leg meta weapons. Going primarily for headshots is really good early wipe because practically nobody has their eyes and jaws protected, and plenty of people wear no helmet at all. This can be taken advantage of either in semi or full auto, using accurate weapons on semi and looking for those one taps, or high RPM weapons with decent recoil for full auto. Headshots are insane at the start of a wipe because everyone's weapons suck and it's a one-shot kill. Early on, the pistols are pretty good at this and feel nice to use, the best at the start being the Glock and the M9A3 from Mechanic and Peacekeeper respectively, due to their higher mag capacity, and it's mainly down to personal preference on which you use of these two. They have insane ADS speed, meaning that you can potentially outshoot other players if you have decent aim, and the lower quality ammo matters less because we're shooting at unprotected hitboxes. The Saiga 9 is also an option that is kind of similar, but it has extremely low recoil instead. It's not one of my personal favourites, but you can give it a go if it suits your playstyle. All of these weapons so far are used with basic 9x19 PST rounds that have 54 damage and 20 pen. Interestingly, we can't buy PST anymore from level 1 traders, but you get a shed load of it at the start, so don't sell it if you're intending on using 9mm weapons. Next up are the shotguns, which for headshots are relatively easy to target. This is because with 12 gauge you get 8 chances, although bear in mind that only Magnum and 5.25mm will one tap with any pellet, and the latter only out to 5 to 10 meters. You still only have to get 2 in 8 though, which is sometimes easier than with single shot weapons. In my opinion, the revolver shotgun and the Mossberg are the best at level 1, with around the same accurate fire rate when you take into account the time it takes to pump the Mossberg and the recentering time on the double action mode for the revolver. The revolver shotgun has a 5-round capacity and is longer to reload, with the Mossberg having an 8-round mag by default, which is really cool, but the pump action motion is kind of annoying to me. I think it's close between the two, so you have to decide if you want slightly cheaper with the 5-round revolver, or more expensive but having 8+1 on the Mossberg. The double barrel from Jaeger is extremely cheap, but I personally find it too unforgiving with only 2 shells. Lots of people love it for hyper budget naked runs as it's only 9k from Jaeger, but your mileage may vary. As for full auto weapons, there actually aren't that many that we have free access to early on without doing barter trades. These are the PPSh, the Kedda and the MP5k. The MP5k recoil is kind of high, and the 30-round mags are expensive-ish, and the Kedda has problems getting 30-round mags at all, as it's barter only until level 2 traders, although you do get one with the gun. The PPSh, on the other hand, is extremely good for this purpose. It's the highest fire rate weapon that you can get your hands on early with 1000 RPM, relatively manageable recoil, and 35-round mags at standard that are only 3k each. The Tokarev ammo is not that great in a general sense, and for headshots you can use any of them, but LRN PC is available at Jaeger 1, which does the most damage. Given they all have low pen, this has become my pick as it's much more versatile. Here's an example of how I've been using it. If all you can see is their head, go to town with the full 35 and hope for the best. One small downside is that the muzzle flash on the PPSh is quite high, but with the high cap mags and just dumping 35 rounds at people in their general head area has been working a treat. Also note that the weapon pulls up and to the left systematically. Try it out in offline factory to get a sense of how much you have to compensate for this when full autoing people so that you're not surprised in a real raid. Outside of this, as a USEC you start with some MP5s and you can barter them for brown knives too. This is not a bad choice as the MP5 has a decent fire rate at 800 and relatively nice iron sights, although it's been a little hit and miss so far for me. Before we continue, I just want to shout out the weekly Tarkov podcast Scav Talk that I run with my fellow Tarkovian church. If you like the content and are interested in more in a long form, we discuss similar stuff over there, which is both live on Twitch and also uploaded to YouTube, Spotify and other platforms as well. The link will be in the description. I'm also streaming regularly, especially in the early wipe, typically UK afternoons, so do come over to ask any questions or just to say hi. Right, next up, let's look at the thorax or body shot meta. This can work both on semi and full auto, the idea being to aim at centre of mass and dealing 85 damage total to the thorax hitbox, which results in an instant death. With semi, you'll want an accurate weapon with the damage potential to 2-tap players, so you'll also need high penetration ammo too to have the best chance of making it through level 2 to 4 armor in 2 clean hits. In full auto, this is broadly the same philosophy, but you don't need quite the same damage or penetration as in semi due to getting more chances to kill your opponent. You can get away with lower penetration and having a hit or two being absorbed, so a precise 2-shot kill is less important. The best round for this type of gameplay on semi is by far the 7.62x39 PS round, which is purchasable from Prapor 1, and is the standard round for the SKS, the VPO-136 and the AKM, which has always been good early wipe. However, and this is really important, there have been some changes to ammunition, including this one. 7.62 PS has been buffed in 12.12.30. Yes, you heard me correctly, buffed, so now the penetration is 35 from its original 32. Practically speaking, this means that it is much more consistent at taking down class 4 armor with a 38% chance to pen on the first hit, up from 18%. Given these weapons are used mostly in semi-auto at the start of a wipe, this is a big boost to these guns, and they were already good before. Between the VPO-136, which is a semi-auto version of the AKM, the basic SKS, and the OP SKS, which is the model that can take an optic, there is a slightly different use case for each one. If you want the cheapest way to run PS, you don't mind a 10-round internal mag and hand reloading the rounds through the top of the weapon, go for the basic SKS as it's the cheapest. This is too limiting for me, and with the 20-round magazines from Peacekeeper costing about 10k if you want a detachable one, go for the VPO-136 instead from Skier. It has lower recoil off the bat, it comes with a 30-round mag of its own when you buy it, and is way easier to mod. The issue right now is that you can't buy 30-round magazines at level 1 traders anymore, meaning that you'll have to use the 10-rounders. My suggestion is to take 130 and 2 10s and use those as a backup, because you do get a 30-round mag when you buy it. The longer 10-rounders are cheaper, and they give more ergonomics than the smaller 10s, although they take up a little bit more space. The beauty of the VPO is that you can also get a red dot for it super early. Grab a bastion cover from Skier 1, remove the rear sight before you apply it, and that gives you a rail. The best way to look for sights now is using the flea market interface, which we can use now before having the flea market unlocked. So link to search the bastion cover and go into sights. This doesn't show you those that require mounts first, like the burrows from Peacekeeper, but personally I like the Cobra. It's the most expensive of the 3 here though, so it's up to you. The other choice is if you want to go ranged with the 4x, as you can use the OP SKS from Jaeger, which can then mount a PSO from Prapor 1. If you pick one up away from Jaeger, firstly make sure that it's the hunting version of the SKS, and secondly that it has the OP SKS dovetail mount attached, otherwise you have to buy this first before the PSO will go on. It doesn't fit to the basic SKS as there is nowhere for it to go. Outside of these we have the ADAR with M855 ammo. This has 50 damage and 28 pen, so it's not bad really, but the base gun is expensive and I don't like the irons on it. It has a rail inbuilt, which looks great from the outside, however don't forget to change the gas block over to the Mark 12 for mechanic, otherwise when you mount an optic you won't be able to see over the front post. Moving on to the full auto weapons, once you complete debut you can buy the AKS-74U from Prapor 1, and 545 ammo is relatively plentiful in spawns around the maps. The best you can get straight away is T with 57 damage and 20 pen, which isn't good enough in my opinion, but if you complete checking, which is the bronze pocket watch quest, you can buy PS, which is 50 damage and 27 pen, which is very similar to the ADAR but on full auto. The unfortunate situation with the mini AKs is they can't take a bastion rail, and the mount for optics is at mechanic 2, so you're stuck with the awful irons. Finally, in this category we have the UMP. This is accessible through Peacekeeper's 7 black handled knife barter. Fence does sell these knives, although you have to be quick off the mark to grab any as they are in high demand. The UMP is a winner because it has such low recoil, and the basic ammo 45 match FMJ has really good stats, 76 damage and 25 pen. The low RPM of this weapon is partly why the recoil is so good, and you do give up potential time to kill for this, however it makes up for it with the damage of each round. For an early SMG, this gun absolutely slaps, and as I said earlier, it looks like nothing has changed on recoil for this wipe, so I fully expect the UMP to be wreaking havoc for quite a while like last time, especially once players can buy it outright later on. So the overall winner in this category of Thorax meta is either the semi-auto VPO-136 for medium range engagements, or the UMP for full auto player smashing if you can get it through the barter. One important point to address here is the Mosin. You might see high level players and streamers using it despite not one-tapping outside of headshots and not being semi-auto either, but the reason for this is that it's the meta choice for players looking to complete the Kappa container quest as early as possible. You have to get the sniper skill up to 9 to complete a late quest for Kappa, so those who are really min-maxing use bolties early to achieve this alongside their other quests. Personally, I'm just not a good enough shot, so I'll have to do that another way. Finally, onto leg meta. This is almost exclusively for full auto because high flesh damage is an absolute requirement to get through your opponent's 440 PMC HP to get the kill. The exception to this is shotguns, as they can deal insane damage in 2 shots with pretty much any of the buckshot rounds. The fastest fire rates with decent damage are the 1000 RPM PPSh again, with LRNPC for 66 damage and a 7-hit kill. We also have the 900 RPM Kedda with PSV ammo for 69 damage and another 7-hit kill, and the MP5 at 800 RPM with the PSO's 59 damage for an 8-hit kill. The combination of magazine availability, the 35 round mags, the 1000 RPM and the damage for a 7-shot kill makes the PPSh the clear winner to me, and it actually works really well. In some situations, it's easier to go for a leg spray than a headshot when close and in the open, just like in this clip here. So overall, what do I think the winners are for the start of 12-12-30? I am swapping between the PPSh for close maps such as Customs and Reserve, where there is either lots of cover or we're inside buildings a lot of the time. The ability to either go for headshots or leg shots depending on the situation gives a ton of versatility, and the fire rate for this weapon makes the time to kill really low. On larger maps like Interchange, Woods and outside on Shoreline, I'm using the VPO-136 with a Bastion rail, Cobra sight and PS ammo. 1 mag of 30 rounds with 2 spares of 10 in the rig, and you can take down players with any armor early on with body shots. I will have a link down in the description with a spreadsheet for all of the level 1 weapons and their barters, as I think it makes it easier to sort through and to decide, so check that out if you think you'll find it useful and want to look through all the guns that are available and not just the ones that I think are the best. Before we finish, let's take a look at the 2 best PvP engagements I've had so far, firstly with the PPSh and secondly with the VPO-136, so you can get an idea of how I think it's best to use them. Right, so we need to change this around a little bit, right? Have a look in here. Yeah, I use 64 FOV. I think it's a good middle ground. If you can get away with lower if you want. I think lower is better personally. I feel like there were 2. Right. We scared him. If only I'd had like a slightly better angle on that guy when he'd been looking through the gap. That would have been really funny. He's gonna think, yes, he's gone. He's gone. We got him, boys. That was disgusting. Truly appalled at my rat-like tendencies. Were there 2, though? I feel like there were 2. Honestly, it's pretty funny. Just got my 3rd Soleil, we're so happy. I don't feel safe here. I thought we'll just go full leg this time. It's 7 shot to the leg, so... This guy got. Hacker. These are kind of efficient to keep stuff in. Okay, do we want to just head into Stronghold? See if we can get any loot in there. It's like 21 minutes. I feel like most of the PvP might be done. The place is probably stripped down, but I don't have any, like, items that I'm really fond of yet. Oh! Damn, he killed me really, really fast. Did he headshot me? He killed me so quickly. Lower nape! Ah! Lower nape! That is so frustrating! Why do I keep getting killed with lower nape? That's actually really frustrating. Dude! Why do I keep getting killed in the lower nape? From the front. There was nothing you could do to protect against it. Recoil is still huge, but at least I'm not looking at the ceiling. Perhaps. I'm not entirely sure yet. There's another stash here. Oh, that's better. Who are those lot shooting at? Guy's super hurt over here. I'm gonna run back this way. Let's see if we can, like, flank around. I don't know if there's anybody else, but... Ow. Not sure if this was the same guy. Still concerned there might be someone over there, but... Just gonna try and get round here. Gotta heal up. Oh my god. Yeah, this guy's got loads of good stuff. So as always, a big shout out to all my patrons. Hit all the buttons if you enjoyed this video, and as always, have fun in your raids.